Now streaming on Facebook, it says.
Hey, how about that? Jimmy Borneman, how the hell are you?
Jonathan Munsell, I'm kicking ass and taking names. How about you?
Oh, I am absolutely kicking ass and taking names.
It just feels like one of those weeks.
Yeah, it's one of those weeks, months, years. Hello out there.
Hello, everyone.
I am Jonathan Munsell.
I am Jimmy Borneman. Nice to see you again.
Yes, we're a couple old souls, old friends, and we're talking about business. And today, Jimmy, I wanted to talk about going big, but I wanted to talk about it more specific today in relation to kind of like operationally how you put it all together.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
It does.
So for those of you out there that don't know us, we both have big restaurant backgrounds, 20 plus years each. We have both owned multiple businesses. We currently own multiple businesses. We own multiple businesses together. And Jimmy is he's the looks of the operation and I'm the muscle.
I think
you got our brain and we'll be fine, Jimmy.
Right. Call me Tin Man, I guess.
So today, the topic that came up was really it's almost a continuation of a conversation we were having earlier. Yep. And we both decided it'd be great to kind of share it with the world because it's current, it's timely, it's how you put together a big company. And we're going to talk about ideas and practices and things that you need to pay attention to. And it doesn't matter if you're building a big company, for every company, we're going to be talking about the fundamentals of things that, you need to get in place. But in general, the background of our conversation, just so everybody's aware of what him and I are putting together. I'm currently in the process of purchasing Pronto Wash International. So the last year I bought the management company, then I bought the franchise company that's over the US and Canada. And I'm currently in the process of buying the entirety of Pronto Wash worldwide as the franchise, the master franchise. So we'll own the brand and all the intellectual property associated with that. And the good thing is that, the brand has been around a long time, long-standing brand. It's been international since 2000. It started in Argentina, and it's currently corporately based in Colombia. And Juan Remolina, who's become a good friend of mine. And if you guys remember, I was in Colombia. Now you all know why I was in Colombia, right? It's like the funny thing about my travels, Jimmy, is people should try to figure out what I'm actually doing there because it's never what it seems.
Never what it seems. Same thing.
Just fun, right? I'm just having fun all over, So
why are you in Mexico City, the other one, like what?
Mexico City's another good one. That's a good one. That'll come to light as I put 100 Pronto Washes in Mexico City. So I took a trip down. I met with the International, and we've now put a deal together where Juan Remolina, who is over international, is actually going to come and work with me here in the US. And he'll be based out of Miami, which is a great place to conduct international business. And I'm slowly falling in love with it. I had a friend ask me the other day if I'm going to buy another house in my area. And I'm like, F no. I'll rent here, right? I got 2 kids and, they're getting older. But I have 2 kids, so this is where I've been for a long time in Cary, North Carolina. But God, every time I go to Miami, I have amazing business success, and it's always a good vibe. And there's just so much energy down there. I mean, obviously, if you guys know anything about COVID, nobody told them, so they never got the message that there was COVID.
If they did, they just pushed through because they're.
Yeah, they gave it to me to bring back to North Carolina is what I think they did.
I remember that.
Yeah, but it's got a hustle and bustle. So I have a couple really big deals going on in Miami. So Miami's a great place, and Pronto Wash International would be served well to be there. Office on Brickell Avenue.
Yeah, we do. Yep.
Streets are paved with gold. So it'll be pretty good. And we just picked up the tallest building outside of New York on the East Coast. So that's pretty big, as well as like 15 other places in about a 2-hour span in Miami. So there's lots going on down there. And if you guys don't know, I own a dry cleaning company, and we're putting a plant in Miami, Tampa, Austin, and Houston. So all of this together is the foundation for our conversation. And Jimmy works closely with me. He's a partner with me, and he's definitely the back end, like he's more office based than me. I'm more road based. So he's always kind of minding, the monitors, as we say. Yep. And, we have multiples always.
Got too many going on around me right now.
I bought like 10 TVs, for my new office. All we use is monitors, all 32-inch or more. So Jimmy's, got a lot of, all of the digital and all of the, the back end processing, and we build our own systems. We've talked in the past few weeks about a training portal. Well, I have an owner's portal. I have an investor's portal. We'll have a Pronto Clean portal. Yeah, we have, what was the other one?
Management training coming up.
Yeah, so so Jimmy's got all of that. He's got all of the CRM and the website and the connecting all of that stuff and reviews and rewards. And
we're building our own point of sale system next.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and when you guys think, worldwide, there's 350 Pronto Wash locations. Latin America, really, really big. Kuwait, kind of cool. I'm in talks with Saudi Arabia. So, there's a lot going on.
In Dubai there also.
Yep, Dubai.
Yeah, that's one of my bucket lists. Yep.
Yes. That trip is happening. So we talked about it, and one of the biggest things is, I have this new guy coming onto the team. Right. So kind of continuing with the hiring conversations we've had, and the company culture conversations we've had. Now this is where the rubber meets the road. I have to now, put my money where my mouth is and provide all of these great tools to somebody. But the thing is that he's at a really high level. So, it changes a little bit about what he needs to know, because, I can train a technician, I can train a manager. How do you train the president of a company?
Right.
There's
whether it be culture or software. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's no short answer to it. Even though we have a pretty good checklist for it, there's no short answer. And some of it obviously is experience. The guy has 150 Pronto Wash locations in Colombia that he's been working on for the last 17 years, before he became the head of international. So he's got a lot of experience with what we do. But the thing we love about Juan is Juan looks at it differently. Things operate differently in the rest of the world. So he just has a different way. And, when you take his ideas, you Americanize them, for lack of a better term, and you figure out, based on our rules, our laws, culturally, what we can do. You come up with some magic, and we've taken some of his models and absolutely been able to apply them. And he's taken a bunch of our stuff and been able to apply it to what he's doing. So we want to talk about that. So the baseline is that's like the background. So Juan's coming on board. Jimmy and I are talking about it today. He's eager to, get information. He's eager to get going, even though he's got a full-time job and we have deals going in like 10 countries. But he wants to be here. He wants to support us down in Miami and really roll his sleeves up, to the point that he's even has some people that he's shipped over to us that are working with us now. So he has some of his own people. And that's important, I think. So for him, the biggest thing that I said, the way to do this is, one, we need to get a full understanding of everything that international does. And, we have a system, and we have daily, weekly, monthly. So he's got to kind of get used to that, number one. And we know on, the 5th of the month, we produce preliminary P&Ls. They go out to all of our locations. They have till the 10th to go through them. They come back, accounting makes any changes. The 15th, they're booked. That's just one little system, in our company. Well, he's got to have accounting. He's got to have something. She's got departments. They do great marketing. They really do some really nice stuff. So, what's the load look like that we're taking on? Okay. So, because we're going to have to make sure all these people are taken care of. And then what are the roles moving forward? Because if he's going to kind of wear a couple hats, what are those hats? So the first thing I said is he's got to tell us what he's got on his plate, because no matter how hard you try, you like to eat a plate of food is hard. If it's covered, 9-inch plate covered corner to corner, that's a joke. The covered corner to corner is.
I was visualizing a plate going 7 pounds.
Hey, there's no corners on my plate. How do you eat a whole plate of food? It's hard, right? One bite at a time, right, Jimmy?
Yes, sir.
How do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
Yeah. So that's really it. So, but I need to know what he's got on his plate, because I can't just, plop on more mashed potatoes. So once I understand what he does and how he does it, then I can kind of assimilate him into what we do. And then we can start helping him define this into our system of what we do. It's like, hey, it's 5 o'clock on Wednesday. Where are you, Jimmy?
Jimmy and Jonny Show.
Right. It's the 3rd Thursday of the month tomorrow. Oh, I must be doing an expert interview. Those are just, that's how we roll. Like, we just know based on the date, the 28th of the month, all kinds of stuff's supposed to happen. So how do you do that? So as part of the system, I said, first, he needs to tell us what he's got going on so we can understand it. Next is we have to take kind of our highest level job description, which I'd say is, a regional manager, right?
Yep.
For us. And he's got to have to be responsible for everything on that and more, because the regional manager doesn't have, basically departments that answer to them. So as he starts to look at that, it's like, okay, if he's, we have internal departments, right? We have a marketing team. We have our graphics guy, and he's our creative guy. We have our asset management. We have sales. So, are we going to just have 2 of everything? What happens when you acquire a company? You got to, there's got to be some level of, I have 2 of these things and I only need 1. What's going to happen? So that's kind of the next thing for us is great job description, which everybody should have a job description, and it should be, more than they can ever do in their first month, 2 months. And then it's up to them to figure out how to get it all done. And then their life actually balances out. That's not a trick, a high level suggestion for everybody.
It's a true life thing. But let me stop you there for a second. But if you don't fill their plate so full, and you bring them in with a little empty plate, they're going to fill it up with dead time and busy work. They're not going to know what to do, so they're just going to make shit up. So you've got to fill that plate. So they got to do this to it. I mean,
I'm telling you, if somebody walks in, even if it's just an admin person, and they can knock out their job description in 3 hours, they're going to knock it out in an hour in a month, and they're going to waste your time and money. So that's job descriptions need to be kind of packed full. I do believe that. But if it's organized, you can see, and this is why I love the daily, weekly, monthly format, Jimmy. I should pull up our newest version of our thing and share it real quick. So here, I'll give you guys a little glimmer into what we do. That's mine, Jimmy. Jeez, I wouldn't want to be that guy. That's a list of news, my friend.
I thought mine was impressive, but nope.
Yeah, yours is good. Yours is good. Yeah, let's go to Jimmy's. So one, I think we talked about this a little bit, but here's a trick we've been using. We have these we're using these kind of launching dashboards so we can easily get to stuff. So instead of me going to look for a file right now, I want to see Jimmy's. I can just jump into Jimmy's right away, and then when I look at that, you'll see it's kind of cool. And Jimmy's is definitely packed. Yeah.
And one of the things, while you're bringing that up, we migrated off of Excel and Word, the independent files on the hard drives, and went strictly to the cloud for the linking reason there and the efficiency. Now the entire team with a click of the mouse, as long as they've got minimum Wi-Fi, we can keep our company congruent. And for instance, remember when our sales guy's house burned down and we lost his computer and his hard drive and every file that
Yes,
moved up to the
I do.
well,
Sadly, I remember that. He's my next door neighbor.
yes. And that was one of our things, is everything's in the cloud and everything's in Google. So anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. So basically that's great. So, we migrated about the time that I bought Pronto Wash, because I have an office in Tampa, I have an office in Texas, I have an office in Cary, Jimmy's in Minnesota, and like, Jimmy works on an Excel file and I'm going work on the same Excel file. It doesn't work like this. So Google Sheets, and we have the whole Google suite of all of it. Even our URLs and everything are all Google Suite based. So it makes life way more simple and seamless, and sharing and levels of protection and all that kind of stuff are all built in, which is really cool. But here's a good example of our newest version, and there's multiple versions of the weekly plan. I've talked about this over many years and I've shared versions of it. Here's the latest, greatest one that I love. So if you look, there's Jimmy's, and he's got this kind of list of like items over here that he's like, needs to do more often than probably anything else. So a lot of times they're in this document all the time. And ultimately they, by the end of the week, when they get to their Friday, and like every Friday for all of our folks by 3:00, you got to have your weekly plan in. And at 4:00, what happens on Friday, Jimmy?
Accountability meeting about the plan.
Accountability meeting. Did you turn it in?
Right.
And what do you got going on? So
most people at 4:00 on Friday are figuring out how to get to the club or the bar for cocktails, and we're still going for 2 more hours because we got shit to do.
Yes, and then we go get cocktails. We still find ways to fit that in. Yeah. So if you look, Jimmy's got weekly objectives. He's got monthly objectives. Okay. So, and these are always in front of him. One of the things we talk about, and then he's got his third quarter. So Jimmy's like lined up. We have annual objectives, and
I don't live in that much because I got all of this stuff right now.
Yeah. Well, I can go to my own one here. Here's our annual objective: increase profitability, hands down. Provide a work environment that consistently provides training, rewards, and recognition for everyone in the company. Increasing sales trends and effective management and structure. That is like, our objectives. We have strategies, right? Make the necessary changes to improve. That's always good. Yeah. Constant operational review, constant financial review. Keep open communication with all to allow self-evaluation and suggestion for improvements. And then we have systems, increase sales. How are we going to tackle all these things? Press store openings, compliance with systems. So we have some pretty cool stuff going on that, but again, this is all, I get to this stuff in 2 seconds using this kind of launchpad system. But I'm telling you, the weekly plan is like the big one, because if you have your folks are dialed in, you can visually see, because we even have time blocking. Like here's, you can see when he's got meetings. So now Jimmy, and yes, we have calendars, we have Google calendars that tie together really well, but it's nice when you're writing your weekly plan to like look at your important stuff. And then Jimmy for next week, it's not that difficult. He's going to go and he's going to duplicate it. And he's going to, get rid of the stuff that he already got done, and he's going to backfill into what he's got going on, for next week. So it works pretty well. And I'm telling you this is a discipline.
And it's hard.
What we do is discipline.
And I got to tell you, it's hard to take on this discipline. It really was. We live by pieces of paper. We live by email. We live by text messages. But when you really got to slow yourself down and think through this, it's amazing what you can knock off the list, what you can plan. Then I go back on Sunday and look at it even more quietly than on a Friday afternoon. I won't lie, Jonathan, that's kind of my bullshit, get it done. But then Sunday is when I really, really turn everything off. I spend 2 or 3 hours and I really dive into detailing out each one of these tasks, if you will, or projects or parts or sprints or whatever you call it. We dive deep on Sunday.
Yeah. So, talking about a big organization. So the first thing is we got to figure out what Juan's got on his plate already for international, right? He's got to go and he's got to build this, he's got to kind of outline, if he's got kids soccer practice on Tuesdays, like that's real, like he's got to get out of here at 4 o'clock or something. Like those things, like they're important. They should be on your plan.
So they're legitimate.
Yeah, they're legitimate. So like, what's he got? What's his work-life balance load, all that. And then we can look at, okay, well, if he's already packed up here, but he's open on Thursday, well, hey, why don't we make it so we meet for 2 hours every Thursday? And if that, I can look at Jimmy's calendar, I can look at my calendar and like, hey, okay, we can block from 12 to 2 every Thursday. And we're going to continue to help him and work on this stuff. But hey, now he's got a time. I'm telling you, it's important to have a time on people's calendars that you need to get information from. I'm telling you, it's the biggest thing when I miss meetings in the week or meetings get pushed, my people end up stuck. They end up stuck to some degree. They do. They do. In our world, they're sending me this. There's a whole way to to present things that are important. But that one-on-one is when, you can dive deeper and you can spend a little bit more. You might get some insight. It's one of the things that allows me to keep my voice universal in the company is by doing that. So when I look at
universal, but consistent too, Jonathan.
Yeah. And you used a great thing today, right? So we have a letter of intent, for what we're doing. And Jimmy's like, oh, it's great. He goes, it's not exactly your voice, but and because I didn't write it. So if he nailed my voice, even though there are some folks around that know how to nail my voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not talking this shot out, cold, rusty bucket of a throat I have right now. I'm talking about my writing voice and all that, which is terrible. And just to be clear with everybody, I don't write anything. I record it all and it gets transcribed and reduced to writing.
One thing I wanted to tell you real quick, Jonathan, about this too, is one of our executives, Mike, has his administrator go through all of the stores that Wednesday or Friday at 3, and they do a deficiency report. So we found ways that we can make Mike's life easy, but he doesn't have to go check everything. He's got to check the deficiency report and then go fix that problem, because it can get overwhelming if you're looking at 20 different daily, weekly, monthlies, and you're also busy yourself. So we did set up some systems to help the executives through those pain points, if you will. So that was a good system that you guys put in place.
Yeah. So I'm telling you, it's huge what Jimmy just said. He just said that we have a system in place to check the system. So that's like, if there's a bit of advice for anybody, you have to constantly go back and make sure that the things that you're doing are done and correct. And that's going to, that includes people getting trained. At the end of training, there should be a review, like, yes, we started out and they're supposed to know all this stuff, but at the end of training, like, go through the list, there should be the list as they're going through it. And then there should be the certification, for lack of a better term. As I sit here, I have my IDA patch and, the International Detailing Association. To get the member patch is easy. To get the certified detailer patch is not, because you know what? You have to take a test.
You got to do a lot of.
How do you validate things in your company? There's got to be a litmus test of some point that says, are things done and are they done right? And you got to constantly, that's that we saw in our objectives about, constantly evaluating it and redoing it, evaluate, redo it. That's how you get better. You have to do that. So with Juan's going to come in, he's going to tell us what he's got on his plate. He's going to write and work with our best job description to outline his job description. So it'll at least be formatted and it'll be in our language. We'll sit down. We're going to have some planning sessions and some time with him and review it. We have a lot of great digital stuff. So even the fact that he's in Colombia right now, he can go through all of our tech training. He can go through the management training. He can watch my onboarding video. He'll get the principles, and he'll get the objectives explained, and the company culture and things like that all can be done in advance. So I like to deliver it personally, and he'll get it from me, and he's gotten it already at some level, but he'll go through that But one of the things I'll do is at some point, him and I'll sit down and I'll be like, okay, have you seen this? 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 And he'll give me feedback on it. And it'll be great. And he might be like, yeah, I went through it, loved it. But he's a constant, never ending improvement type guy, which I love. Yep. So, it was great. But if I don't get it, I'll be like, well, where's the but? So that's the plan, to like take a new guy at a high level in our company, and he's got to do a lot of the work. If you ever read like the description of our training, we train people to be self-sufficient and independent, and it's up to the trainee to seek out knowledge and additional information. If they don't feel like they got it, they need to like go further. It's not, oh, that's it and you're done. So we put a lot of responsibility on people as part of our company culture. And that's like written into our success principles and our operating philosophies. So, and maybe we'll share a couple of those, Jimmy, here and there. I've been using them forever. Things around, 100% responsibility management, right? Do you own it? Like, it's something to like, to own something, and you can't go and point fingers, right? If you own it, right? If your job is to, take care of an asset of ours, and you run that down to the 10 and fumble it, right? Like you still have an opportunity to dive on it, but the goal is you're going to pick it up and get it that extra 10 yards, and it's going to be done. You got to bury things. So that things that hang out there, like that's not taking responsibility. And that's like a big one. So we shared one today, Jimmy.
Yeah, well, here's a real life thing that happened in regards to that. Mike and I were working on a program for when a vehicle is completed, the techs will fill out a form in our CRM, and it'll notify our customer care that it's done. It'll notify the customer that it's done. So I built this system, and there were some things that didn't work in the field. So Mike and I were going back and forth. Will this work? Have you guys test it? We call it build it, break it, fix it. And at the end of the day, we're at the 1 yard line, and I fumbled it. I thought I gave him the right link to the right page, and I kept getting this damn 404 error. Mike brought it up, and my bad, I own it. It was, I did something wrong. But we have this team that came behind and helped us pick the ball back up so that the team tomorrow can roll out this completion ticket. I thought it was done, it was off the checklist. We tested it, but something changed just at the end, and it would have messed up the entire rollout, and we would look like idiots. So Mike and I, him being that, the feedback and the auditing and the cross-departmentalizing each other, what works in the field and in tech, they have to talk to each other, right? They've got to work. Just because I say it needs to be red, he says it needs to be black. It's got to come somewhere in the middle. So anyways.
Yeah, no, it's good. And I'm telling you, it's the feedback loop.
Yep.
You gotta have, a feedback loop. And because things, I've seen it where, people are in an ivory tower and they roll stuff out. It should just work, right? We came up with it. We had a bunch of smart, MBAs, sitting around in a room that said, oh, that should work. They never worked a day in their life in the field.
Right.
They've written dissertations on it, but have they flipped a friggin' burger?
In our case,
you're able to do that in 1 second per patty. Come on, you're good. You flip more. So so again, you got to have a feedback loop, especially when you roll stuff out. There should definitely be like periods of time and stages to what you're doing, and it should be okay. We're gonna have and I'm telling you, this is like a distinct change from early on for me in my career. It used to be, get it out there, shove it, move on to the next.
Yep.
But the thing that I realized, there's like life cycles of things. And especially when you roll something out, it's like, okay, we rolled it out, now we got to like check adoption. Are they using it? Okay. And if they're not, why are they not using it? Right. So Jimmy right now is building the fundamentals of a technician app. If he does, basically they're done with the service, they're going to flip up a link in this, it starts as a link, a website or a page or a form. And, he's basically building the fundamentals of what are going to be, the technician app, and that will get more and more and more and more and more advanced because we built one already. So but he's built, that's first grade, you know, it's like, I'm done. You know, hit this button, I'm done. Okay. But the button doesn't work, or like, you know, maybe when you're out in the sun and, you know, it's like 100 degrees here in Cary today, and like, you know, maybe the button should be a different color because it like loses in the sun, like stupid little things like that. Cause that's like, you know, customer experience, right? That technician is now your customer. We're delivering a product. That's the product. He's your customer. So you got to have feedback loops. So roll it out, then look at, you know, adoption. We can see, are they doing it? Right. And then if somebody check, right, there's that checker. That, okay, we have 10% are using it. Okay. Why is it 10%? And we never roll anything out. Usually we never roll anything out to 100% anyway, but you know, okay, of the 10% that we rolled it out to, 10% are using it. Okay. Why? You know, oh, they're all telling me that, you know, they can't upload the photos, right? That's literally, that will happen someday, Jimmy, watch.
Actually, it already has, and we already solved that problem, but they
can't upload it. Like, so they get stuck and they're like, I'm out. Like, I don't got, like, I got to go to my next appointment.
Yeah, they're in a parking garage, Jonathan. On the third one underground, there's no internet. They can't upload the photo. We seriously ran this problem.
Yep.
Mike and I ran it all the way down to the end, and we got a solution. But life story, true.
Yeah, and that's one solution. In the future, they'll like go into some cache on the phone, and as soon as he hits the light of day, the thing like, you know, just like when you come off an airplane, you're like, it's like, boop, 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 like all your messages come in.
Yep.
So yeah, but that's how we do it though. So it's a system and a process. So you roll it out. Okay, we have 10% adoption. Why? You know, because they can't get to it. They, you know, we didn't give them enough information.
We made it too
Maybe
hard.
the training wasn't good. And this actually was how, this is actually a real process that I've been through. But so we ended up hiring a guy at one point in time, and his job was literally to like map it out, both from an operation standpoint and a technology standpoint. Like he was literally, his job was to translate. Okay, we all speak English. His job was to translate operations to engineer. Like, and then he had to translate engineer to operations and the lowest level that you possibly can, so it can be understood, right? They say if you're a decent writer, you write it like what, like an 8th grade level?
I thought it was 2nd grade, but yeah.
That's not my writing. No, that's what they say about my writing.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, it might be a 3rd grade, a 6th grade. Yeah, you'd like, so like, is it to that level? And we had a guy that his job, and he would make elaborate rollout plans and slides and all. And he was the guy that would go and get the feedback and then bring it back to the engineers. And then that's why there's V1, V2, V3.1.
Remember in one of your other companies, you rolled out something in the app for the techs and they wouldn't use it. And you spent all this money building it. And your tech guy came back and said, they're just not using it. We spent, I think you told me it was $100,000 getting this one thing rolled out, and the field didn't accept it. And that's, to me, that's another thing we got to watch, is the dollar spent upon accepting, like you just said. And if we spend too much money building something that you and I think's badass, but Mike's team won't touch it, what's the point?
Yeah. You see that paddle behind me, Jimmy? That's how you get them to use it. That's what that's for. If anybody's ever wondered why there's an oar behind me, actually the oar is a symbolic of our company culture. It's about rowing the goddamn boat.
Yep.
So,
Yep. And there's another whole team that teaches them to row on the opposite side of the boat so you can go forward, not in circles.
Yes. Yeah, I'm still looking for my motor. my little Coleman or whatever the hell it is.
Yep.
Mercury, and I just need a few horses.
Exactly, a trolling motor is what they're called.
Yes. So so that's, I mean, like, for everybody out there, these are just fundamental concepts that we've learned over time. But it's ultimately, it's how you can grow a business or any business, and you can scale, but you got to build these things in. You can't just keep going and throwing things out there. Oh, it didn't work, kick it to the side. Because like Jimmy said, you put money on some of these things, and the money adds up. So like, make sure the things that you put into development, okay, are worth it in the end. And because it takes time, it takes money. But again, use a system and always have this feedback loop. And I think, you'll eliminate a lot of fluff and a lot of waste in your company. I guarantee it.
Yeah, and one last thing I want to put out there before we wrap up, I use something called USA and then MAP, which is understand, simplify it, then automate it, and then make a massive action plan to get it rolled out. So anytime that we roll out this stuff, I've got to understand it. I got to simplify it, like you talked about, down to the lowest common denominator. Then we got to automate it so that it happens. And then we got to make the plan, a massive action plan to deal with it. So anytime Jonathan and I do stuff, I've got this USA and map that I have to go through to make it work. But that's my takeaway for you guys out there is find something.
Mine is similar. It's GSD. Get done. That is my parting comment, folks. And I'm out of here.
All right.
All week, try the lasagna.
Have a good week, everybody.
On a serious one, have a good one, guys. If you need anything, there'll be links and everything. If you want some of the information we talked about, let us know. If you want some access to these things, these are all tools that we provide for our members. Next week, Jimmy, I want to walk them through the project template.
That's a good idea. Yep.
That's a really good one, guys.
Yep.
That's how we get 900 things moving at the same time.
We're going to be putting this up on YouTube with any links you guys might need. So check it out there.
Awesome. Hey, Jimmy, I'll chat at you later.
All right. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.